Nobody questioned the order at first. A small village in northern France, marked as cleared, on the latest intelligence update, needed to be checked for stragglers. Standard procedure after the breakout from Normandy. Second Platoon was assigned the route. Mostly replacements by that point. Men who had seen just enough combat to stop asking too many questions, but not enough to stop being afraid. I was one of them. We moved out just after dawn. The sky was low and gray, the kind of color that makes everything look older than it is. According to command, there should have been nothing left in the village. No German units, no civilians, no resistance, just empty buildings and a clean pass-through zone. But when we reached the tree line overlooking the valley, something felt wrong immediately. There were no birds, no movement at all. Even the wind felt muted. Sarge raised his binoculars and scanned the village for a long time without saying anything. Then he lowered them and said the words none of us liked hearing. Stay sharp. That was it. No explanation. We moved in. The village was too quiet. Not abandoned quiet. Controlled quiet. Like someone had removed everything alive from it recently and carefully. Doors were closed, not broken. Windows intact. Even the road wasn't damaged from shelling, which didn't make sense for an area that had supposedly been cleared. I remember noticing a child's toy near the fountain in the center square. Fresh paint. No dust. Miller picked it up without thinking. That was the first mistake, because underneath it, there were boot prints, not ours, already inside the village. Heading deeper in, we split into 3-man search teams. Standard procedure. I was with Miller and Dawson. First house, empty. Second house, abandoned meal still on the table. Soup gone cold, but chairs pulled back neatly, like someone had left in a hurry, and then returned to straighten things out. Dawson joked about it, said maybe the Germans had suddenly become polite. Nobody laughed. Then we found the radio, sitting on a kitchen counter in the third building. German field set, already switched on. No power source nearby, just humming quietly. Miller froze when he saw it. Sarge hadn't cleared this house yet. No one had, and yet it was already active. Dawson reached for it instinctively. I told him to stop, but he was faster. He turned the dial. Static. Then a voice. Clear. Come. German. Miller understood enough to translate. He went pale immediately. They're saying, they've been expecting us. That didn't make sense. Because according to command, this village had been cleared 2 days ago. No one should have been here. Sarge came in right as the radio spoke again. This time louder, more deliberate. And then it switched languages. English. Broken, but understandable. Do not proceed further into settlement. Sarge went silent. We all did. Nobody touched the radio after that. But it kept speaking anyway, even though no one was holding it, even though no one had powered it. That's when the first shot came, from somewhere above the village square. Glass shattered in the distance. Then another shot, controlled, measured, not random fire. Miller dropped instinctively behind cover. Sarge shouted for contact report, but the radio was already dead again. No response from command. No artillery. Nothing. Just silence. We returned fire toward the rooftops. Nothing visible. No muzzle flash. No movement. But the shots kept coming. Always from different positions. Always one step ahead of where we looked. Like we were being guided, not attacked. Then Dawson found the bodies. 5 German soldiers in the square. Lined up loosely, like they had fallen mid-movement. No explosion damage. No scattered gear. Just clean bullet wounds. Precise. Execution style. But there was no sign of who fired them. Miller said something I still remember clearly. If someone cleared this place, why are they still fresh? Nobody answered him. Because we were starting to realize the same thing. They weren't old. They weren't even hours old. The radio turned itself on again, from inside Dawson's pack, even though it had been removed from the device. That's when things stopped feeling normal. A voice came through again, this time in English. Closer, almost like it was speaking inside the room with us. You are inside an active sector. Sarge finally snapped. Said it was German psychological warfare, a leftover unit, but even he didn't sound convinced anymore. Then we checked the map, and that's when everything shifted. The village wasn't on our assigned route. It never had been. We had deviated by nearly 8 kilometers without realizing it. No recorded order change, no navigation correction, nothing, just wrong positioning, like we had been steered here. Before Sarge could speak, a flare rose from the western edge of the village. Green, then red, then green again. Recognition signals, but not allied. Miller saw them first and whispered, "That's not ours." Then movement appeared at the edge of the fields. Too many figures to count, too far to identify, but moving in coordination. Sarge ordered immediate withdrawal. No debate, no delay, just pull out. We went. That's when Miller went down. 1 second he was beside me. The next, he was gone into a doorway we had already cleared. I never saw the shot, only the sound. Dawson tried to go back, Sarge grabbed him and yelled, "They're separating us." We reached the edge of the village just as artillery finally came in. American shells. Heavy impact. The village behind us lit up in fire and dust. Everything collapsing into smoke. We thought it was over. We thought whatever had been there was gone. But I looked back, and I saw movement in the smoke. Still organized. Still watching. Still inside the village. 2 days later, Dawson's radio activated again. Even without power. Even without a battery. One message. Repeated. Clear. You have left the sector unsealed. And then silence. I never reported what I saw again. Official records say the village was fully cleared before our arrival. No German units confirmed. No engagement recorded. No casualties logged matching our report. Just an empty grid on a map. But I still remember the radio. Still remember the voice. And most of all, I remember the feeling that we were never the ones clearing that village. We were the ones being checked.